Welcome back to Business Matters. I'm here in Westford with Catherine of Pfau Photography. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, John?
I'm doing very good. So what can you tell us about how you got here with your amazing studio, vaulted ceilings, plenty of space and all of that kind of stuff? It's a great environment. How did you come about this place?
Yeah, it's a kind of interesting place. It's an old manufacturing building, and I'll take you for a little tour later on.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Yeah, and I heard about it through another photographer, and there was space available. So here I am 2 years later. So
Excellent.
It's worked out great.
Excellent. So what do you primarily do here?
So I do portraits here. I love to take portraits of people, and this is the perfect spot for it.
Why is that important? Why are portraits important for people to have?
So portraits are just, I think it's probably the most important thing you can do for yourself and your family. And you're creating a legacy when you have a portrait taking. And I always, even when I was younger, I thought, if I ever had a fire in my house, the first thing I would save are my pictures.
Right. Everybody would run to the mantle.
Right, yeah. So to me, it really has a place of value. And I believe through it, we create a legacy. And because the moment that we have now with our families, friends, relatives, grandparents, it may never happen again. We may never be with these people again. You just never know. And to have something physical that you can always look back on and just remember that moment and remember your kids when they were just born or 2 years old and they're 40 and 50 now.
Right.
It's really an amazing thing. So the other thing is, I believe we should all exist in portraits too. In this digital age, people think, oh, it's on my phone, it's on my phone, I have pictures. But our children, our grandchildren, may never have the pleasure of looking at their picture on the wall or feeling that portrait in their hand of their grandparent. So I think it's really important now more than ever before to exist in portraits.
Right. So it sounds like you do family portraitry. What other kind of portraits do you do, or other examples of photography?
Yeah. So I do family portraits, definitely. I started out doing newborns, and I added families to it. And I especially love doing intergenerational portraits. I always felt like the grandparents were a little left out. So to me, it's really important to include grandparents and for them, but yet as the children get older, just they know who the grandparents are. So they'll always have a picture of them with the grandparents, and they'll know, oh, I'm part of this family. And as they see it on the wall, they can walk by, and you just know that it's not just me. You know, I have other people here looking out, and I'm part of something. So I just think it's a really wonderful thing for a child to have. I also do headshots. I do what I call personal branding. So every business now has to have visual marketing, and it's become another thing that's become so important. And you have to have professional photos. You have to have really good pictures to go on your website, so people will continue looking at your website. If you have just pictures of your iPhone or from your iPhone, it may not give that professional feeling, and people can sense that automatically.
Right.
Yeah.
So somebody wants to sign up for a booking. What happens then?
So the most important thing when I have a new client or somebody shows an interest, I sit down with them, hopefully in person, and I ask them a lot of questions. So the first thing is, who do you want to be photographed with? Sometimes people don't think of that. They think, oh, I want a portrait. Well, who do you want to include? Do you want to take it by yourself, which is great? Do you want to have your mother, your father, your sister, a mother-daughter portrait? Do you want your spouse, your boyfriend? Do you want a picture for dating? You know, there's many options. And so I photograph sometimes people with their dogs. Right. Because a lot of people have dogs and they're part of the family. You have to include them.
It's a big thing in this day and age now.
That's
Even getting little outfits on them and everything. So what is the experience like when they do that and end up coming here and all that?
Yeah, so the experience, I like to call it a Vanity Fair type portrait session. And what I mean by that is I call it contemporary portraits.
Okay.
It is an experience. It's a whole day. So you come in, and this is probably more important for the ladies, but so women will come in and have a full hair and makeup session.
Oh, wow.
I have a professional makeup artist come in, and I'll show you the space later on where I have that done. So they'll come in, they'll have their hair, their makeup done, and if they bring a friend or a sister or a couple sisters, they'll do it all together, and it's really fun. It's amazing. You just feel great afterwards. And then we go into the portrait session, and there they have a choice of gowns they can wear. They can look casual, they can look glam, however they want it to look. It's very customized. So then we spend some time just doing the portraits. We'll do some alone, we'll do some with the family. Again, it really depends on what we've talked about ahead of time as far as the look that they want, who they want to be with, and how they want to be photographed.
So what are some of your products?
Some of my products, you know what, I'm going to show you, John.
Okay, sounds great. Alrighty.
So this is where I have hair and makeup done. We have a makeup section right here. So people come in here, and the makeup artist is here, and they have their hair and makeup done right here. And so here's some of my products.
Okay.
And so I have some beautiful folio box, and these are handmade in Italy. Beautiful matted pictures that come in here.
Oh, nice.
And this is similar, but this is like a framed portrait, but you can put 10, 20 images inside here too.
Okay, so you provide the whole package there, the picture, the framing, the matting and everything?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are just some of the images in here.
So who do you photograph? You know, it's...
So I photograph all ages. I photograph, and it's really everyday people. Some people think, oh, you use models, and I don't, because I believe that every person has an amazing amount of beauty inside them, and they don't see it.
Right.
They don't see how other people see them. So it's not just physical beauty. I think beauty comes from inside, and that's what I try to capture, and that's what I can find when I work with people. People tell me it's a transformative experience, and a lot of people, women in particular, would tell me, I'm 20 pounds too heavy, I can't do it, I have nothing to wear, I don't know. And they come in here, get their hair and makeup done. They're a little nervous at first, and then they start warming up, and they love it, especially when they see the pictures. They look at it, and some of them cry because they cannot believe that it's so beautiful, and they are so beautiful. So it's an experience, and it really transforms the way people look at themselves.
Nice.
Yeah, so I love doing it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I can tell. Takes the passion.
And here's a book. This is a little baby book.
Okay.
So,
Look at that.
yeah, a family, and this comes in a nice box. So, yeah.
And you do, I mean, you're not just all here in the studio as well. You do location
Exactly.
shoot. I know you've done a number of things for the chamber, any of our events.
Right.
You know, and people can see those pictures on our Facebook page and on the website as well.
Right,
So
right.
you do a lot of
Yeah,
other
so
as
in
well.
addition to the studio, I do some outdoor work too. I have an outdoor studio in Bolton in the fall especially, or I go to people's homes. For example, this woman she was 94 at the time. She's a little older now. This is in their yard.
Okay.
And her daughter, who's in her 50s, wanted a portrait of herself and her mother.
Oh.
And that's one of my favorite people. Two of my
Very
favorite
colorful.
people, yeah.
She's got that shirt with all the
Right,
colors
right.
and the lighting.
And here's one that was in my outdoor studio in Bolton of a family, because I love the colors in Bolton and any place at this time of year. So, yeah.
Right.
And then there's some other portraits of studio shots too. So I do a mix. There's a mix of work, yeah.
Quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have a number of setups here in the studio as well. Do you want to show us any of those, or?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
It looks like you've well utilized the space.
Right, so this area is predominantly where I shoot, and there are two areas where we can photograph. We can set up any way that we want, and it works out well.
Nice.
The
Got a little hardwood floor over here, and
Yep.
got some
Yeah,
camera gear there.
and we have great windows too. We have beautiful window light
Right.
that I can utilize. I shouldn't say we, but
How many rooms
yeah.
do you have?
Well, it's really the space. I'll show you the rest. The other thing I wanted to mention while we were in here is I do have a selection of dresses and gowns that people can choose from too.
Okay.
And this is for the people who have nothing to wear. But those people usually come in with 10 different outfits.
Right.
So,
Oh, nice. Nice. And a little changing room, it looks like.
right, yes.
Excellent.
So our tour continues through here.
Alrighty. Wow.
So this was an old gear manufacturing factory back in the 1850s. And it was in business for quite a while. In fact, there's a ledger book out in the back from 1922, and I'll show you that. But you can see some of the old machinery from the gear
Right.
factory. This is some kind of a gear hoist, and there are leather belts that are still on it. If you look over on this section, you see the leather belts? So what that did was enable them to lift all these heavy, and the gears were made of wood at that time. So there's like an elevator shaft in the back where they could haul the gears up and down using this hoist.
Wow. So you can get a very industrial feel, you know, for your photos, or juxtaposed feel.
Absolutely.
Because speaking of that, there is a tub sitting here.
You never know when you're going to need a tub.
Absolutely. So, and you got light coming in. It's quite fascinating, actually.
Right, right. So this is a great corner for photographs. Beautiful light coming in.
Just the
And
old wall work, and
right.
an old plaster and stone mix. And
Yeah, yeah. And there's some more artifacts from the manufacturing company.
I don't suppose we know what this is.
That
Looks
we
like
don't.
a drill press.
Yeah.
They might have missed a few times.
Right, right. Yeah. This I
Do you
don't
usually
know.
ever have anybody sit on this to get a picture?
You know what? That's a good idea. Why don't you come in sometime and we'll
Try it out, make sure
Right.
it doesn't go this way.
right.
Thank you for watching Business Matters. I want to thank our guests today, Acton TV and Catherine Pfau Photography. We do have a big event coming up. It's our annual awards gala on April 25th. If you'd like to find out more information about that or get tickets, or if you'd like to find out information about becoming a chamber member, feel free to look us up at mwcoc.com. You can find all of that information, and we'll see you next month on Business Matters.